Hi, and welcome back to Skrach. Today, we're going to make cinnamon raisin bread. If you'd like to support the channel, please like and share this recipe. For this, we'll need a large egg, 2 2/3 cups of flour, a half cup plus 1 tablespoon of whole milk divided, a third cup plus 1/4 cup of sugar divided, a third cup of lukewarm water, a third cup of raisins, a 1/4 cup of softened butter, a 1/4 cup of melted butter, a tablespoon of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We'll start by blooming our 2 teaspoons of yeast and our third cup of lukewarm water in a large bowl. The water should be about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. While our yeast is blooming, we'll melt 1/4 cup of our butter on the stovetop over medium-low heat or in the microwave in quick 10-second bursts, and warm a half cup of our milk on the stovetop over medium heat until it's also about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. About 3 minutes. While it's possible to do this by hand, I'm going to be using a stand mixer. Once our milk is finished heating, we'll mix our egg, 1/4 cup of our sugar, our 1/4 cup of softened butter, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/3 cup of raisins, and half cup of warm milk into our yeast mixture using the whisker attachment on low speed until well combined. Then we'll switch to our dough hook attachment and mix in our 2 2/3 cups flour, a third cup at a time, on low speed until we have a stiff dough. We'll continue to knead our dough with the dough hook on low speed until it's silky smooth and pulls away from the side of our mixing bowl, about 6 minutes. Once kneaded, we'll brush our dough ball with some of our melted butter, cover it with a warm, damp towel, and allow it to rise until doubled in volume, about an hour and a half. I'll be using the bread proof setting on my oven. While our bread is proofing, we'll whisk together our remaining third cup of sugar with our tablespoon of cinnamon. After our first rise is finished, we'll roll our dough out onto a lightly floured work surface until it's about a ½ inch thick. We'll brush one side with our remaining tablespoon of milk before sprinkling generously with our cinnamon mixture. Then, we'll tightly roll it lengthwise into a log that's about 3 inches in diameter. Next, we'll tuck our ends under and pinch the bottom of our loaf together. Once we've prepared our loaf, we'll generously butter a 9 by 5 inch loaf pan with some of our additional melted butter. Place our prepared loaf, seam side down, in the pan and brush the top with more melted butter. We'll cover our prepared loaf back up with a warm, damp towel and allow it to undergo a second rise, this time for about an hour. While our bread is rising, we'll preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we'll score the top with a sharp knife and bake our cinnamon raisin bread for 45 minutes until lightly browned. Then we'll remove our loaf pan onto a cooling rack and lightly brush the loaf with more of our melted butter. We'll let this cool in the pan for 20 minutes before turning out our loaf to cool completely before slicing. And remember, if you like the content, please subscribe.